back in the house of the Lord. I'm here to present to you the fifth word of Jesus Christ on the cross, where he says, I thirst. I would like to attack this particular phrase from two different angles, both from John 19 verse 28 and from Matthew 27 verse 34. But before that, please close your eyes with me for a word of prayer as we consider the topic, love hurts. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day, thank you for bringing us all here. Please allow us to take something from the sermon and let it be your words and not mine. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Now, before I begin, I would like Vaughn to pull up John 19 verse 20. You might ask me why I'm attacking this verse from this story from two different angles, but sometimes seem like a mismatch of the same story. Different events scattered through four different books in four different ways. But I have the answer. I'm here to tell you that the four Gospels are organized the way they are to represent the different people that they were written to. First, you have Matthew and Mark, who were written by Jewish people to the Jewish community. And for that reason, we have more parables, we have more stories, more connections to daily Jewish life in those two different books. Then we have Luke. Luke was written towards the Gentiles, which is why Luke's message is mostly geared towards how God accepts everybody. Sometimes the Gentiles felt ostracized in the community of Christians. So this book was their reminder that they belong, that God loved them as much as they did. First, we have the book of John. In this book, it's special because this book, its main purpose is to reaffirm us that Jesus is the one and only Son of God. That's why when we see John 1 verse 1, we get the phrase, in the beginning was the Word was God, and the Word was God. Please read John 19 verse 28. Besides not eating or drinking since the Last Supper, Jesus hasn't eaten in a while. He lost a tremendous amount of body fluid from being flogged, beaten, and from sweating through his agony. Despite all the times he was tired, hungry, anguished, and angry on earth, some people still today deny that he was human, just like us.
Mercy. Come on, you going there.
The simple phrase, I thirst, is really on the surface used to remind us that Jesus dealt with humanity the same way that we do in their everyday lives. No matter how insignificant or small, just being thirsty shows that he was one of us. When I first looked through the several fine words of Christ on the cross, I was surprised to find that this word, known to some as the words of distress, was the only time where he commented on his own physical discomfort. But then I wasn't. Jesus, during his earthly ministry, and to this day remains the paragon of a perfect temperament. Through his tendency to never complain and instead focus on the pains that crippled other people's lives, Jesus has established himself as our ultimate example on how to act and how to behave with others. Christ spent his first 3 words on the cross calling upon his Father for the forgiveness of those who jeered at him, insulted him, and spit on him. He spent his second word comforting a repentant thief on the cross next to him. And he spent his third word designating a caretaker for his loving mother Mary. Considering how open-handed and selfless Jesus had been so far, it seems to me uncharacteristic that he would even take one split second to recognize his own physical discomfort. Especially in the middle of such an intense spiritual battle, which was his own death. This was the same Jesus who resisted Satan's temptation to make himself bread out of stones, even while he was in his weakened state of fasting. While puzzling over this question, the words of the scripture stuck out to me, and I recognized the verse saying that the scripture might be fulfilled. Before Jesus said, I thirst, in the book of John, and from that point, it all made sense. One of the most prominent biblical motives of the Bible is the Messianic prophecies. We find littered throughout the Old Testament, somewhere in the neighborhood of 200 to 400 prophecies pointing to his birth, life, death, and resurrection. And throughout the Gospels, especially the book of John, we find a plethora of them fulfilled, with John 19:28 being one of them. Right. In the 69th Psalm, verse 21, we read, "They gave me also gall for my meat, and in my thirst they gave me vinegar to drink." Just a side note, gall is basically myrrh, which is essentially tree sap that they added to the vinegar to add flavor. So, but by expressing his thirst while dying on the cross, Christ once again affirms himself not as the criminal that the crowd made him out to be, but as the one true king who came to rectify man's relationship with God. It also makes sense that even in his expression of discomfort, Christ would be selfless enough to focus on the simplest, least gruesome affliction that he was facing. To give you a better idea of the torment he was subject to, I want to read a short excerpt. Crucifixion sometimes began with a scourging or flogging of the victim's back. The Romans used a whip called the flagrum, which consisted of small pieces of bone and metal attached to a number of leather strands. The number of blows given to Jesus is not recorded. However, the number of blows in Jewish law was 39, which was meant to be in person literally between one hit of death. One less than the 40 called for in the Torah to prevent accounting error. During the surgery, the skin was ripped from the back, exposing a bloody mass of tissue and bone. Extreme blood loss occurred, often causing death or at least unconsciousness. In addition to the flogging Jesus faced, severe beating and torment by the Roman soldiers, including the plucking of his beard and piercing of the scalp with the crown of thorns. This excerpt doesn't even take into account the struggle of carrying a 100-pound crossbeam across this area of 2 football fields. Having 7-inch spikes mangled the nerves of the hand, or the extreme hunger, lack of oxygen, and fatigue which gripped our Savior. Looking back at it, the fact that Jesus only said, "I thirst," is another testament to just how focused he was on reconciling man and God. But besides just testifying as to how obedient he was to God and loving to us, Jesus gave another declaration of who he is. Christ's 5th words and situations surrounding it also allude to previous biblical events. In John 4, verse 13 and 15, we encounter the story of the woman at the well. Jesus answered and said unto her, "Whosoever drinketh of this water shall thirst again. But whosoever drinketh of the water that I shall give him shall never thirst. But the water that I shall give him shall be in him a well of water springing up into everlasting life." And said unto him, "Sir, give me this water, that I thirst not, neither give me to draw." Wouldn't it be ironic that Jesus, who called himself the living water, is here saying he's thirsty? Even in his state of thirst on the cross of Calvary, his thirst is just an allusion back to the woman at the well, and he's foreshadowing how he one day not only quench her thirst, physical and spiritual, but the thirst of all who seek after him. You can also see symbolism in the method that Jesus was given the bitter vinegar to drink. The text says that he drank from a sponge held up to him with hyssop. Recall the 10th plague that God sent out on the people of Egypt, where the firstborn son of every household, save for those who had the blood of the Passover lamb, smeared on their door frames was. The Israelites used the hyssop branch to smear the blood over their door frames. Numerous times in the Old Testament, usually in Israelite rituals, was the hyssop branch used to symbolize the transfer of blood of a sacrifice onto a sinner to cover sins. Examples include the protocol for cleansing a leper, for cleansing someone who had come into contact with a dead body, or even for performing sin sacrifices of animals. God used the hyssop branch in all these instances to point to the sacrifice of his own perfect son, who was offered to drink of the cup of God's wrath with the hyssop branch. Before I close, I would like to look at the verse which parallels John 19, verse 28. Turn with me to Matthew 27, verse 34. Please read with me. He would not drink. It was biblically common to give a strong drink such as vinegar to someone who was perishing, in order to not only intoxicate them, that they might feel less pain and misery, but to prolong their life a little while more. Matthew, the book of Matthew, written by a Jew, he was well accustomed with these different rituals that Jewish people did. And that's why, from his point of view, this little piece of information of him not drinking is significant. Proverbs 31, verse 6 and 7 say, Give strong drink unto him that is ready to perish, and wine unto those that be of heavy hearts. Let him drink and forget his poverty, and remember his misery no more. In refusing to drink any more of the vinegar and gall than he needed in order to fulfill the prophecy, Jesus spurned the only physical comfort he was offered on the cross. He rejected prolonging his life to instead look into the face of death and finally conquer it. This act reflected his ultimate love and loyalty to God and compassion for us. All in all, through our Savior's apparent words of despair, saying, I thirst, he in fact not only affirms to us that he is who he says he is, he exemplifies perfect selflessness. And declares to everything in existence that he is willing to do whatever it takes to reconcile God with humanity.
Yeah.